battered and bruised for 2 years in a row now. While the ruling government has used the COVID-19 pandemic as a convenient opportunity to shift all the blame of its incompetence to an act of God, it is fair to say that the government is to blame for India's dismal performance in the economic sphere on a global basis. After the vastly extravagant promises of $5 trillion economy, GDP growth was on a 4-quarter decline before the pandemic. So it is only fair that the ruling government takes the responsibility for the recession that we are suffering and stop its scapegoat hunting. But we cannot expect that from the autocratic establishment that is running the world's largest democracy. Slashing the budget for crucial sector, it has announced large capital outlays for the state of West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Assam. But the question arises, why these 4 specific states? Well, these are election-bound states and very much in line with their nature. This tyrannic regime now needs the people's vote to spread its fascist wings further and hence. Resorting to its technique of making grand wishes and screaming huge numbers and brainwashing the public. So let me make it clear, these proposals are just outlays and the actual expenditure will take place only after the schemes are approved and over a time period spanning years, depending on the speed of implementation, an area where this government has been put to question time and again. Whilst the new agriculture infrastructure development says of rupees 2.50 on petrol and rupees 4 on diesel won't hike the actual price paid by customers. This new rate structure is a blow to the federal structure of our democracy, as the says will entirely go to the center, and amidst all the complaints from states regarding long overdue GST proceeds bill, this new says is yet another example of the government's centralizing tendency. There was no major announcement on even flagship schemes like the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Kishan Samman Nidhi scheme, with allocation to the latter seeing no change from the revised budget last year. According to the economic survey released January 29, 2021, the scheme had reached around 9 crore farmers in 2020-2021 till December 2020, but had around 14 crore registered farmers. I seek a clarification from the Honorable Finance Minister MOS, who is sitting over here. Why are crores of farmers left out? Funds have not been disbursed for West Bengal as well. Sir, in the education sector, 750 Ecolabor model for impoverished communities is a great step, but there is no clarity or proposal on setting up institutions to strengthen assessment on critical skills as enumerated by the National Education Policy. Thus, I would request the Minister to enumerate on how the government will boost digital education by slashing allocation for education by rupees 6,086.89 crore and facing problems of connectivity in rural area. Again, budgetary allocation for the Ministry of Tourism has dropped 19% from rupees 2,500 crore in 2020-2021 to rupees 2,026.77 crore this year. How will the government revive and boost this sector, which has been most severely hit by the pandemic? The stakeholders of this field are really looking forward on a detailed explanation, thus requesting the Minister for the same. So, over the last 16 years, gender budgeting allocation for improving the condition of women has been below 5%, and in budget 2021, women-specific schemes with 100% allotment by center witnessed a 13% decline. Priority areas such as social protection, digital literacy, skill training, domestic violence, emerging in the wake of COVID-19 have only received 2% of allocation. As per Center of Monitoring Indian Economy, women labor force had a severe drop by 14% compared to only 1% in case of men. Moreover, the gender digital divided restricted women's access to online education, health and work opportunities, given that only 21% of Indian women use mobile internet compared to 42% of men. According to the GSM associations, the state of mobile Internet Connectivity 2020 report. A small allocation has been made for rural digital literacy under the PM Gramin Digital Saksharata Abhijan in 2021-2022. But, Honorable Finance Minister, how will it benefit the poor which are not connected through internet facility? Moreover, data prices are high for them to afford. Also, there is a high number of urban poor. How will they benefit? I would like to request the Minister to elaborate on the plan of uplifting the position of women through budget allocation 2021. The World Bank Biennial Poverty and Shared Prosperity Report, Reversal of Fortune, of released on the 7th of October 2020, and across the 200 pages documents, it was repeatedly said the estimation of global poverty level is not possible until and unless one of the poorest nation, that is India, comes up with latest set of data. I will quote, the lack of recent data for India severely hinders the ability of monitor global poverty. It is a matter of utter shame for the country, not just because it records one of the highest number of poor, but also because it doesn't bother to keep account of the same. The latest data on poverty in India is from a survey done in 2011-2012, almost a decade ago. Again, it would be very helpful if the minister could say when does the government intend to bring out the report. After all, the motto is Garibi Hatao and not Garibi Chupao. I would like to conclude by saying that the government needs to pay attention to what their opposers say, suppressing the voice of dissent at every step, continuous impositions of Section 144, branding anyone with an opposing view as anti-Indian, has earned the Honorable Prime Minister comparison with the most disliked autocratic rulers across history. If you and your government want the nation to develop, include developmental projects in your election manifesto.
Kindly
not
conclude.
Promises of temples and statues. Don't make false promises of 2 crore jobs and 15 lakh rupees. And actually work towards creating employment. Stop trampling the voice of your opposition at the first sign of protest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.